Hi, this is your instructor, Tori Quizmundo. The purpose of this video is to take you through Project 1. Let's get started. Task 1 says, convert the products data, cell A18 through D131 to a table. Now, I'm going to share with you the easiest way to select a lot of data. It says A18 through D131. So I'm going to scroll down here just a little bit to get to A18, and I'm going to select A18 through D18, and now I'm going to choose Control Shift down arrow. Control Shift down arrow. That will select all the adjacent cells. That's a really great trick to use during your test so that you can quickly select things. Select the first row of cells and then choose Control Shift down arrow on your keypad and it will select all of them. If you do not use this tip, you will spend a lot of time in your test just scrolling, trying to get to the end of your data. Okay? So it's going to ask me, convert the products data to a table. I can come up here and choose to insert and table, and it'll say, hey, is this the cells that you want? Yeah, it is. And in my table, it does have headers. I can look. It has got titles at the top. That's my headers. SKU, product, size, and price. My table has headers, and I'm going to say, okay, I have quickly and easily converted that little bit of data into a table. Now it says apply formatting to make every other row shaded. All right, well, it already has shading for every other row. So I don't have to worry about that. Had it not have done that, what it's asking for is banded rows. This is my banded rows. Banded rows means that every other row is shaded. If I have my table selected, and on my table tools, I go to the design tab, I can check banded rows or I can uncheck banded rows to make them every other row shaded. Okay, so we do want banded rows. Then it's going to ask me to complete this task by naming the table Products 2016. And with my table tools design tab selected, now when I click off of the table, my table tools tab goes away. When I click on the table, it comes back. So in order to get this, I've got to click on my table tools on the design tab. On the far left, it says table name. So here, I'm going to name it Products 2016. All right, that task is complete. Let's take a look at task 2. Task 2, change the horizontal alignment of the SKU column starting with cell A18 to left indent, set the indent to 1. Okay, so, oops, I'm not really sure what I clicked. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's select cell A18, and it wants all of the data in cell A18, so I'm going to do this little trick again, Control Shift down arrow. And it will select all of my, if not, I'd still be scrolling until I get to row 133, right? So I have selected my data, and it asked me to set a left indent to 1. Now, this is the trick here. When you go to do an indent, typically you would go to your home tab to your alignment grouping, and you've got a decrease indent and an increase indent here, and you would just say, oh yeah, I gotcha, increase indent by 1. However, this one is more specific. It says do a left indent to 1. So I'm going to have to go to my More button, and I'm going to have to choose under my alignment that for my horizontal, I would like a left indent, and I'm going to say indent it to 1. And then I'm going to choose OK. So now that task is complete. Task number 3, add a total row to calculate the average product's price. Okay, add a total row to get the average product's price. Now, if I scroll to the very bottom of my table, I don't have a total row down here. Now, this is what I love about tables. If you have content that's in a table, you can go up here to your Table Tools Design tab, and you can say that you would like to have a total row, and it'll automatically add it in there for you. It is no skin off your back. You click a quick button right here under your design tab, and it's selected, okay? Now, however, this here is giving me a subtotal, and I don't want a subtotal. It specifically asked me for what? The average? Is that what it said? Let's take a double look. Calculate the average product price. So I want the average product price. So I need to hit this little down arrow and choose average. It really is that easy. In a table, it really is that easy. Okay, so that task is complete. Got my average in there. Then the next thing it's going to ask me to do is apply table style dark 11. So as long as I have my table selected, right, I come over here to my table styles and I want to find table style dark 11. Light blue, white. I probably should have looked up dark 11 before I started this. Oh, here we go. Light, I forgot to mention this. Light categories, medium categories, and let me scroll down. I forgot about this. Dark categories. And it wants table style dark 11. So one of these here should be dark 11. Dark yellow, dark everything else. Okay, so maybe when I created this set of instructions, I should have been a little bit more specific. There should be a dark 11 in here, and dark 8, dark 9, dark 10. There we go, dark 11. Dark 11. I probably should have put the word green in there, but I didn't, okay? So, but that's how you can identify your different categories. All right, let's take a look at task 4. Adjust the column width of columns A through D to exactly 17. Now, we've done this before. A through D, select all 3 of them. If you cannot click here and drag to get it to be exactly 17, that's fine. Go ahead up here to your cells grouping, your format button, go to your column width and type in there 17, 1, 7, and say OK, and then that task will be complete. Task number 5. In cell E19, we're going to create sparklines using the cells for size and price. So I want to use size and price to create my sparklines right here. And then fill the sparklines down. If I want to add sparklines, I'm going to come up to my Insert tab. On my Insert tab, I've got a sparklines grouping, and it specifically says line. It could ask you to insert a spark column. It could ask you to insert a spark line when lost, but this one specifically says spark line. So I'm going to choose my spark line, and it's going to ask me for my data range. And my data range is going to be size and price, because that's what it asked for. And then I'll say, okay. Now I've got my spark line in there. I'm not saying it's the most beautiful, but it's there, okay? Then if I just simply, during your test, you can usually just double click right here, and it will select your formula and fill it all the way down to save time. However, because I'm not in the test environment, as I'm double clicking, it's not going to fill that down for me. And in this particular instance, if you do Control-Shift down arrow, it's only going to select your cells. It doesn't really know to fill it in. So in this instance, you're going to actually have to fill. All right, so you select your cell, take your little fat daddy down to your skinny mini, that's called your fill handle, and simply click and drag. And we've got to go all the way down to row 133. All right, so my spark lines are complete. Let me increase this view back up. There we go. All right, spark lines are done. Let's take a look at task 6. Format the price column as currency. Okay, let me come down here and select the price column. Click, Control-Shift down arrow. Now, this $sign here is accounting. This is not currency. I know it looks like a $sign. I know you're tempted to click it, but if you mouse over it, you'll see that specifically says accounting number format. If you select this, when it tells you to place in currency, you'll get your task incorrect. So I'm going to click the down arrow on the general, and then I'm going to choose currency. Now, I'm going to share with you the difference between currency and accounting format. The biggest difference is where your $sign is aligned. So in this cell here, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to click on this accounting. And so you see what happens with accounting. Accounting's got to be lined up. Everything's got to be lined up. So all of the $signs in the accounting format are always going to be on the far left so that everything else can line up properly. So you see the difference. This is accounting. This is currency. Okay, so I'll come back up here and change this one back to currency. All right, that's the biggest difference. Make sure you choose the proper one. Let's take a look at the next task, Task 7. Without changing the alignment of the text, simultaneously merge cells B1 through H15. That should not say cell B1. I'm going to fix that. Through H15. Okay. What it should have said is B11 through H15. I'll update that on your set of instructions. It should have said B11 through H15. All right, let's take a look at this task again. Without changing the alignment of the text, simultaneously merge cells B11 through H15. All right, so I have my cells selected, and I'm going to come up here to my merge and center. However, I'm going to say I'd like to merge it across. Merge across, and now all of these cells here are merged, right? B11 is merged, B12 is merged, B13 is merged, B14. This is how you can merge multiple cells at once. And it says without changing the alignment of the text. My text did not change its alignment. It is still left aligned. All right, let's take a look at the last task, task number 8. Turn the services information into a table from G18 to K26. So I'm going to select from G18 through K26. It's going to ask me to turn that into a table. So I'll come up here and choose Insert and Table. And since I have my text selected, it's already going to say, is this what you want, G18 through K26? Yes, it is. Does your table have headers? Yes, it does. Okay. So I'll say okay. So this is now a table. All right. Then it says, now change it back to standard text, but keep the formatting. So now it's like, you know what? I really didn't want the table. Because, you know, there is a difference between table and data. And both of them are very similar, but a table has a lot more functionality in Excel. So this here is a table. And when you have a table, you've got a lot of sort features. You've got a lot of different options. If you have standard text, you've got to add the stuff in separately. So this here is for sure a table. Now, if I want to change this back to standard text, I'll select my table. I'm going to go to my Design tab. On my Design tab, I'm going to choose under the Tools grouping, Convert to Range. When I convert this to range, it's going to ask me, do I want to convert it back to a normal range? Yes. Guess what? It's now lost all of its table functionality. When I click on it, I no longer get the table tools at the top, but it still kept its formatting just like the set of instructions asked. So it'll keep its formatting, but I got rid of the table functionality. All right, that does it for Project 1. Take a look at the next video for Project 2.